welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am bringing you my Manga Spartan Challenge wrap-up, also known as my August manga wrap-up. So in August, I did participate in the Manga Spartan Challenge that was hosted by Jen Graves. My goal was to read 41 volumes of manga in the month of August, which is one more volume than I had read in the Lohali 30 for 30 challenge in April, and so I did actually complete that challenge. It was a lot of reading. I did have to binge at the very last minute, but I'm really proud of what I was able to accomplish, and I had a really great time reading all of these titles. I read from 12 different series, so there's a lot of manga to get through. So let's just get into it. The first few volumes I read were volumes 6 to 13 of What Did You Eat Yesterday by Fumi Yoshinaga. This is a story about Shiro and Kenji, a gay couple living their lives together as they create and cook delicious meals, as well as the friends they have made through their shared love of food. So like I had mentioned in my July wrap-up, I believe, I read volumes 1 through 5 then, and I'm really enjoying this series still. There were a lot of recipes again. I had mentioned in my July wrap-up that I was a little disappointed that there wasn't more like couple feeling scenes with Shiro and Kenji. There's still not a lot, but I definitely feel like they're more of a couple in these volumes that I had read in August as opposed to the volumes I had read in July. I think there are 2 more volumes out already in Japan, but I have no ETA on the volume 14 that's next coming out in the US. There's just no date like that I can see on Goodreads. I haven't actually researched it anywhere else, but Goodreads is usually where I go to find information on releases. And so, yeah, I'm still really enjoying the series. I did borrow it from my library, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So then I read Blood Lad Omnibus 1, and this one's by Yuki Kodama. And this one follows a vampire by the name of Staz, and he is a powerful district leader in the demon world, who also happens to be obsessed with all things human. So one day a mortal girl mysteriously arrives in his district, and he's super excited because he wants to ask her all of these things about the human world, but before he can do that, she is killed by a rival that's trying to take over his territory. So now she's just a spirit, and Staz has vowed to make her human again, and if that quest leads him to the mortal world, all the better. So this story, or omnibus, I believe encompassed 2 volumes. It was okay, good even, but I wasn't like wowed by it. It's an interesting story, but it's not one where I'm feeling like I absolutely need to continue immediately. I think there's an anime for this one, so I'll probably check that one out. Like I had said before, animes sometimes help me connect better with a title. I am interested to see what's going to happen next, but I read this one at the very beginning of August and didn't feel the need to try to get the second omnibus right away. So I will probably continue with this series, but it's not on my like immediate or high priority list as far as series goes. I also read some titles for my In Real Life manga book club, and so last month's title was, or one of last month's titles was Comi Can't Communicate Volume 1 by Tomohito Oda. This one follows a girl who has severe social anxiety, and it makes her seem unfriendly and unapproachable, and a boy who sees past this and tries to help her make a few friends. So I have social anxiety to an extent, definitely not the extent that Comi has it. But I did find this title very interesting and relatable, and I'm really looking forward to see how she overcomes her anxiety and makes friends. In this volume, she makes quite a few for how severe her anxiety is, but it was very touching to see how she goes about it and how the friends that she makes like cheers her on and helps her out. And yeah, I'm really glad that our group decided to read this one in August, and I will definitely be continuing with that one. We also read volume 1 of Black Clover by Yuki Tabata. This one follows Yuno and Aster, who are really good friends. Yuno is very gifted with magical abilities, but Aster doesn't seem to have any. Both of them want to become the Sorcerer Emperor, but obviously Aster is at a disadvantage as he doesn't have any magical abilities. And then when the time comes for them to get like their coming of age grimoire, Yuki obviously is gifted with a very special one, and Aster doesn't get gifted with one at all. It isn't until later that Aster gets gifted one, but it's kind of an opposite grimoire of everyone else's. It kind of cancels out magic, I believe. And so I believe the series follows these two characters as they go their separate ways and try to become the Sorcerer Emperor. I did have this particular volume in my collection already. I had picked it up in a Barnes & Noble Manga Monday special a while back, but I just was never really interested in the series. I did recently hear one of their opening themes that I really enjoy. I believe it's called Red Rover by Vicky Blanca, if you're interested. So that kind of got me interested in starting this series, but after reading it, I'm still not really enthused about it. It does definitely remind me of Naruto in a sense. I haven't read the manga, but I've watched quite a bit of the anime. But in the sense that Aster kind of reminds me of Rock Lee, where Rock Lee has like no ninjutsu, but Aster has no magical ability, and they're both like trying to become the best. Again, with the Naruto theme coming through, where Naruto is trying to become the Hokage and Aster's trying to become this Sorcerer Emperor. I'll probably read a couple more volumes or watch the anime and see how I feel. I believe this one is quite long already. But again, it's not one of those stories that I'm like really gearing to read more of. I think I'm probably more interested in Blood Lab than I am in Black Clover right now. But yeah, it was enjoyable. But just not great and not really my taste. But like I said, I'll probably read more sometime in the future. We also continued our series read of Ouran High School Host Club by Bisco Hattori. We have been reading a couple volumes every month. Last month I was supposed to read volumes 3 and 4, or I should say in July, but I only read volume 3, so I ended up reading volumes 4 through 6 in August. I'm sure you all know what Ouran High School Host Club is about, but for those of you who might not, it follows Haruhi, who is a rare scholarship student at an affluent school. All she wants to do is find a quiet place to study, but instead she finds the host club. A group of 6 affluent and attractive guys who spend their days entertaining the girls of the school with parties and events. This meeting changes not only Haruhi's life as she unwillingly is made to join their club, but the lives of each member of the host club as they get to know her. We are still in the section where the anime portrays this. These 3 volumes included one of my favorite sections of the anime. For those of you who have watched it, it is the Karuisawa refreshing battle. And yeah, I'm still really enjoying this reread, and I'm looking forward to getting to volumes 7 and 8 in September. So I also continued with my read of Blue Exorcist. I read volumes 13 and 14. This one's by Kazue Kato, and it follows Rin, who discovers that he's the son of Satan, and after his father is killed by Satan, he vows to become the very best exorcist and defeat Satan no matter what it takes. These events lead him to the True Cross Academy, where he starts his training to become an exorcist. But things aren't as easy as he thought they would be, especially because he has to hide the fact that he has demonic blood in him from his classmates. We're still in a really interesting area where it's following the twist that happened a few volumes back. I'm still very interested in this story. We are still borrowing it from the library, and I really, really want to add this series to my collection. It's just not an opportune time to do that at this moment, but we'll definitely be continuing, and I'm still really enjoying that series. So then I read My Girlfriend's a Geek, volumes 1 through 5 by Pentabu, art by Rise Shinba. I will be doing a series thoughts video on this series, so look out for that and more detailed thoughts on it. But I enjoyed this series. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, I guess I would say. My daughter had seen it at the library and thought it would be interesting for me to read because we had just finished reading Wotakoi, Love is Hard for an Otaku, and in there's a couple of characters decide to get together because they can't seem to find a non-otaku boyfriend or girlfriend who understands their hobby, and this one follows a guy who sees a really beautiful girl and is also happened to be looking for a part-time job, and it just so happens this girl works at a place who's looking for people to hire, and so he applies there, gets hired, and then starts to try to date said girl. And she tells him, I really need to tell you something before this gets any further. I'm an otaku. And he kind of thinks that it's just okay, she really likes anime and manga, and even though he doesn't really watch anime, he does read manga. She tells her, it's fine, that's not a problem, and then she goes further and says, I'm what you might call a fujoshi. And he doesn't really know what that means, but he thinks, it's fine, it's not really a big deal. But she's like a massive, hardcore fujoshi. Like everything in her life outside of work revolves around her hobby. So short version is that though I enjoyed reading this series, I will not be adding it to my collection. And like I said, I will be doing a series thoughts video on this. So for more of my thoughts on this series, definitely keep an eye out for that. I also read Real Account volumes 2 and 3. This one story is by Okusho and illustration is by Shizumu Watanabe. This one follows Ataru Kashiwagi, who, unbeknownst to the people in his real life, is obsessed with the social media platform Real account. One day, while checking in with his online friends, he gets transported into a virtual area called the Real Account Zone with several other users of the platform. There they are forced by a character named Marble to play his games and win in order to get back to the real world or die trying. There was a major twist at the end of Volume 2, and so I immediately had to find out what was going on in Volume 3, and this twist kind of changed the course of the story, so I can't really tell you what's going on, but we moved away from Ataru and his storyline to someone else and following their storyline, and it all has to do with the twist. If you read this series, you know what I mean. And it's a really interesting series. I am reading this through Kindle Unlimited. They have, I believe, 8 or so volumes available on their service, and I definitely find what's going on fascinating. There are things that are going on in the real world as well that are equally as interesting. The story really covers what people will do to get views and followers and things like that. And I think it's really relatable. It's something that I definitely have thought about in regards to our social media use and online presence today. And yeah, I'm just really finding this series fascinating, so I'll definitely be continuing with that one. I also read Missions of Love, volumes 1, 2, and 3 by Emma Toyama. I am also reading this one through Kindle Unlimited. I will be doing a first impressions video on these 3 volumes. And I just thought that having 3 volumes to do an impressions video, a first impressions video, would be better. A lot of times I find that for me, my first impression of a first volume can be on the unfavorable side. So I thought, especially with a series of this length, this series is 19 volumes, though I believe only 17 are out in English right now, that with a series of this size, doing a first impressions with 3 volumes would be a better approach. So yeah, I'll be doing a first impressions video on this one. But this one follows Yukina, who's a high school student, who's avoided by most of her classmates due to her icy gaze. Little do they know that she is the popular cell phone novelist that they are all obsessed with right now. Her audience is calling for some romance in her story, but there's just one problem. Yukina has no experience in that department whatsoever. Luck is on her side when she stumbles upon some incriminating evidence against the most popular boy in school. She devises a plan for him to complete missions geared towards giving her the experiences she needs in order to write some romance into her novel, and maybe even into her own real life. So I am really enjoying this series. It's fluffy shoujo goodness, I guess. It's really like far-fetched that a storyline like this would even happen in real life, or that even the main boy character would go along with it. But 3 volumes in, things are starting to change. I do have some issues with this one, and I'll go more into it in my first impressions video. But I'm really enjoying this. It's a really fast read. The volumes go really fast for me. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. And I'm looking forward to reading more. So, what does that leave me with now? I have my list down here if you didn't notice me looking. I read volume 2 of Slumbering Beauty by Yumi Unita. I had read volume 1 with my in real life manga book club in June. It was either June or July. But this one follows a girl who really loves to sleep and the god whose job it is to wake everyone up, and she has just like made his job more and more miserable as she gets older, and he finally just gets fed up with it and basically kicks her out of her bed. And they get to know each other, and he realizes that she kind of has a knack for putting people to sleep. Not that she's like a boring person, but you know how when you like pat babies to help them go to sleep, like her pats are like magical, like they're just super effective on people. So he kind of takes her along with him to help him put people to sleep, especially ones that have like insomnia, and what he does and all of his techniques don't really work on them. She is able to help them go to sleep. So volume 1 kind of was okay for me. I wasn't really sure where the story was going. Luckily, this is a duology, and we do get a complete story in 2 volumes, and this one was just okay for me. I had a lot of issues with where the story ended up. I felt like where the story led to didn't really make sense. And yeah, it was just okay. It was just okay. I know that one of the girls in my manga book club really enjoyed the series, and I don't know, maybe she's a teenager, and maybe because I'm much older, I just didn't get it. But yeah, I am glad that I did complete this series and read it through. The art style wasn't really my style, but I think I definitely consider reading something else by this mangaka in the future. So yeah, that one was just okay for me. And then I read Snow White with the Red Hair, Volume 2 by Sarada Akizuki. This one follows an herbalist by the name of Shirayuki, who, after catching the unwanted attention of the prince because of the color of her hair, leaves the kingdom only to find an unlikely ally in the prince from another kingdom. I thought that the first volume of this one was good. I believe we also read it the same month as Slumbering Beauty Volume 1 with my in real life manga book club. And general consensus from my group was that the manga was just okay, but most of them had already watched the anime adaptation. I have not done that yet. I did want to continue reading the manga before I started watching the anime, just to give the story a bit of a chance in the format that I started it with. And though I did find the second volume more interesting than the first one, I'm still not like totally hooked on the series. I can see what the appeal is, and I definitely see something that I'd be interested to see where that storyline goes, but I'm still not hooked. So I don't know, I've read 2 volumes already. I don't know if I should read a third one before I start the manga volume, or if I should just go ahead and watch up to where I've read in this series. But yeah, this one is not as good for me as I've heard that it is. But I think the people that I've heard that this series is amazing from have watched the anime already. So yeah, let me know what you think, if I should just continue reading the manga or if I should just go ahead and introduce myself to the anime. But yeah, I'm not really hooked on this series yet. And then, to complete everything that I read in August, I read volumes 9 through 21 of Haikyuu by Haruichi Furudate. I am really enjoying this. Like I said, I watched the anime about 3 times. I watched it twice all the way through in episodes, and I watched a third time in the summarized movie versions. And so this is like my 4th approach at this series, and I'm still really, really enjoying it. I had decided early on that I was probably going to stop right after the Shiratorizawa game was done. That is where season 3 of the anime ends, for those of you who are unfamiliar. So that is what I did. Volume 21 is where that ends. I was kind of under the impression that we'd get season 4 in September, but that was incorrect information, and now it looks like we will be getting season 4 in January, and it's killing me. It's killing me. I don't know if I should go ahead and continue and read some more. I kind of don't want to, because I don't want to have expectations going into the new season. And I believe the next few volumes will cover, or at least the next volume, will cover the Nekoma Fukurodani game, which is a, I believe, movie that they're going to put out sometime in January also. And I have no idea if Crunchyroll is going to get a license for it or anything like that, so I'm not sure if I'm going to continue reading at this time. I want to, but I don't want to have expectations going in, because I think having expectations will lessen my enjoyment of watching it. It usually does. And so, yeah, it's only been a few days since the end of August, where I read the last few volumes of Haikyuu, and I'm like itching to read some more. So yeah, I don't know. Decisions, but like I said, I am really enjoying this series. It's definitely one of my favorites. We are pre-ordered up to where we could be pre-ordered up to as far as the manga volumes go, and it's definitely one that I make sure that I pre-order, so that we are up to date. My daughter is up to date as far as the physical releases go, and so she has obviously read up to volume 34. I believe that's what came in the mail earlier this week. And she's just devoured it. She's really enjoying it. I think she is a little miffed that I'm leaving her hanging as far as the rest of the series right now, because I think there's stuff she really wants to talk to me about, but she won't, because she doesn't want to spoil things for me. I've trained her well. But yeah, really, really enjoying that series. So that is everything that I read manga-wise in the month of August. Like I said, I'm very happy with the amount of volumes that I was able to read, and that I met my goal. If you're interested in the novels that I have read in August as well, there is another video for that, so definitely look for that. It's already up on my channel by the time you're seeing this video. And so yeah, I'll probably be scaling back the manga reading in September. I do definitely need to catch up with my volumes of novels. Volumes of novels? See, I'm in a manga, like, a mindset. I really need to catch up with the number of novels that I am reading per month because I am definitely behind as far as my goal goes for that. But that's not to say I won't be reading any manga in the month of September. So, let me know if you participated in the Manga Spartan Challenge and how many manga you were able to read in August for that. Or if you didn't, let me know what your favorite read in the month of August was. Or just let me know what your thoughts are on any of these series that I read. So that is all that I've got for you today. I hope you're all doing great. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.